Okay, good day everyone. So today we will be moving forward to the third lesson for our subject UCSP. So in this lesson, we will be talking about the anthropological and sociological perspectives on society. So for this lesson, you're expected to first explain why people form societies. Second is to identify the different types of societies. And finally, to compare and contrast the different types of societies. Now, before we proceed with our lesson or our discussion, let us first define what a society is. Technically, when we talk about society, this refers to a group of people with common territory, interaction, and culture. While Arsinas also defines society as a group of people living together in a definite territory, having a sense of belongingness, mutually interdependent of each other, and follow a certain way of life. So basically, what this says is that ang society kay composed siya of group of people. Now, this group of people cannot be called a society if wala sila common territory, wala sila common nga lugar nga gipuy-an, they do not interact with each other, and wala sila shared culture. So technically, ang usa ka grupo sa tao, makatawag lang nga society if you are living together in a definite space or a definite territory. You are interacting with one another, maybe you talk, you help with the things that you have to do in your community, and at the same time, a society or a group of people can only be called a society if they share a common culture, meaning to say they follow certain beliefs or they practice some traditions or folkways or customs together. Now, let us answer the question, why do people live together as a society? Ngano man nga ang mga tao magkuyugay man jud, why do we form these societies? Is a society really necessary for a person's survival? Is it really necessary for a person to be together with other people at all times? Now, there are several reasons as to why people form societies, and here are a few. And the most prominent or the most important reasons. Number one is for us to survive. So, ang tao, dili ta ka-survive alone. As the maxim goes, no man is an island. So, basically, we form groups so that we can survive since we can't perform all the tasks that is present in a certain community alone. Maybe you are skilled at cooking. However, dili ka maumanom. So, unsa may imong itanom kung wala kay, or unsa man ang imong lutuon kung wala kay itanom. So, technically, kita mga tao, we are inclined to form a society or form a group simply because we have this need to survive. The second one is we have the desire to have the feeling of gregariousness. Now, when we say gregariousness, this is similar or synonymous to belongingness. Basically, we form groups, we form society so that ma-feel nato nga we are a part of something. We belong to a certain group that we can call ours. And finally, we form societies because of our specialization or our professions. So the teachers, they have this sort of societies where sometimes they would gather together to share their ideas and expertise. At the same time, ang mga doctors po, they have their own societies or groups nga to i-share nila baro ng ilang research results or maybe the best practices that they do in their profession. Now, we have already discussed or we have already answered the question why people form societies. Now, let us talk about the characteristics of societies. Number one, a society is characterized by social system. So, going back on the definition earlier, a group of people can only be called a society if it is interacting with one another. Meaning to say, a society also has to have social system. Meaning to say, it has to have a mechanism where people interact with one another. It can be through physical interaction, or maybe sometimes it's virtual, no? Karon na tay mga gitawag og mga virtual societies, kanang mga grupo sa mga tao, nga kanang They have formed their groups and they have met online. So we could also call them a society, and that is because they have their own social system. The second one is that a society is characterized by becoming relatively large. Matawag ba nato nga usa ka society kung usa ra ka tawo ang naa? Of course not, no, kay kanang dili man siya group of people. How about if 5? Probably not pod, kay gamay ra kaayo. How about if 50? How about 100? Okay, so if mulapas na siya sa 50, or it depends upon the number, kay if the population is just 50, so matawag na to nga usa ka society ang group nga naay 50 ka mga tao. So again, all you have to remember is that a society has to be relatively large. Daghan siya og member. Dili pod pwede nga duha ra mo ka buok tawgon na dayon mo nga society, no? The third characteristic of culture is that it endures, meaning to say whatever the adversities that these societies might face, makasurvive sila. It can overcome any adversities nga na-face sa society. For example, nayo sa ka-society nga gibahaan, butanta ang Maslog, gibahaan siya after a typhoon. Unya ang mga tao sa Maslog, after that typhoon, after that baha ng layas. Now, can we say nga ni-endure or ni-survive pa ang society sa Maslog? Course, no, dili na, kay wala man sila nakasurvive sa adversity, which in that case was the baha or the bagyo. So, ang society, matawag na nato siya nga society again if it endures or if it survives certain calamities or maybe certain adversities. Okay? The fourth one is, again, a characteristic of society is that it has to have a common culture. Sama na sa kung giingon ganina, ang usa ka groups of people, dili nato matawag nga society kung they do not share the same culture. So they have to have certain practices or maybe certain beliefs that they share among each other. And finally, a society or a group of people can be called a society if it has a defined geographical territory. Meaning to say, mailhan nato og asa ra kutob ug asa nagsugod ang ilahang territory or ilang society. So for example, the city of Danao has a definite territory. So kung ang tanaw na to sa mapa sa Cebu, assuming that this is the map of Cebu, ang Danao naa diri dapita. So defined na siya nga diring dapita mao ni ang atuang society sa Danao. So people that are living in this certain area are called Danawanoys because number one, of its defined territory. Second, because the people of Danao share a common culture. Third, because regardless of the adversities that were present or that has onslaught or affected Danao City, may endure ang atong society. Fourth, because there is a social system that is present in Danao. And of course, the fifth one is matunod natay common culture, defined geographical territory, naapod tay kanang social system, meaning to say the people in Danao are interacting with one another. Okay, now moving forward, we have already defined what a society is. We have also already discussed why people form societies or the reasons behind forming societies. And the third, we have already discussed about the characteristics of societies. Now let us move forward to the different types of societies that has existed throughout history of humankind. So technically, the types of societies are grouped into 3 types. The first one is based on the economic and material system. The second one is based on their evolutionary view. And the third one is based on their people's subsistence. Now, let us discuss first the economic societies. So, under economic societies, there are 6 types. The first one is ang pre-class societies. Now, sa pre-class societies, it is technically characterized by communal ownership. Moana ganitag communal ownership class, it means to say that whatever is present in their society is shared among its members. So for example, kung ikaw member ka sa pre-class society sa una niya, na kayo sa kabag nga apple, so that certain bag of apple, imo siyang i-share sa mga tao nga kauban nimo sa imuhang societies. You have to remember also nga sa pre-class societies kay gamay pa ni sila. More likely, ang ilahang number is around 50 to 100 members ra. So, that is why, whatever is the property nga naa or makita sa ilang society sa una, ilahan na nang i-share with each other. For example, na kay asin, usa ka kilo, katong asin nga usa ka kilo, it is assumed nga dili ra to imuha, but also kanang a property of all the people who belong to your same society. Now, another important characteristic of pre-class society is that it is characterized by division of labor. Meaning to say, kung unsay mga buluhaton sa inyuhang society kay inyuhan ng tabangan. So, if you have decided nga magtukod ba mo rin og balay, so kanang tanang tao or tanang members sa society who are able and capable of helping kay magtinabangay sila. Naabarig tighakot sa bus, naabarig tighanip sa kanang mga kahoy, or naabarig tig-prepare sa food para ang mga nagtrabaho kay makakaon. So, ingon ana ang pre-class societies. Okay? Now, moving on, after the pre-class societies existed, ning-evolve siya. And with that came the Asiatic societies. So sa pre-class society, they already have their selected leader. However, dili pa siya ingon na naka-define because again, as I've said, there is division of labor. So murag the leader is just someone who would delegate the task to others. After this development from pre-class to Asiatic, ang mga tao under the pre-class society, they have already become economically self-sufficient. Meaning to say, in terms of economics or in terms of economy, makasurvive digid sila. No, kaya na nila buhion ang ilang kaugalingon. Dili na sila magsalig sa ilahang mga silingan. So kung ikaw galuto ka, wala kay asin, dili na ka mag-agat nga tagaan kag asin sa imong silingan kay ikaw mismo na anak kay asin. Okay? However, in the pre-class or in the Asiatic societies, ang ilahang leaders na kay despotic and powerful. When we say despotic, it means that they are tyrannical. So meaning to say, ang ilang leaders ngadto kung unsay gusto maoy masunod. So kung manugo baron na ilang leader nga magpakuha sila og bakus or magpabuhat sila og belt out of kanang skin sa crocodile, so ang ilahang members ani nga certain society mangita og paagi nga makakuha sila og skin sa crocodile para mahimong belt sa ilahang leader. So in the Asiatic society, the most important thing that you have to remember again is that their leaders are now despotic and tyrannical, or despotic and powerful. So whatever the leader says, that will happen, or that will be the steps that the members of this certain society will follow. Afterwards, ang Asiatic society develop agad siya further. And next is the ancient societies na dayon. Now, what are ancient societies? Sa ancient societies, it is prominently characterized by ownership of private lands. No? So, nakita ninyo yung development ganina sa pre-class kung unsay naan nila nga resources or property gi-share sa tanang members sa society. Dito sa Asiatic, kay shared gihapon. However, ang ilang leaders kay despotic na and powerful. Now, because of the existence of this despotic and powerful leaders, na-exist dayon or ni-develop siya into ancient societies. So, ang katong mga leaders nga ni-exist during that Asiatic society class, nangangkon sila og mga kayutaan, nangangkon sila og properties. Now, when the ancient societies came to life, ang katong mga leaders, they have occupied this land and claimed it as theirs. So, technically exist na ang concept of private ownership kay mo na naman dito ang leader nga kani kay akuan ni ha. So meaning to say kung unsay naa diri ako ara dili nimo magamit, dili na ko i-share sa uban, ako'y makabut unsaon ni nako pag purot or unsaon nako paggamit. Therefore, those people nga wala na nag-iya aning mga yuta, dili sila kapangangkon or dili sila kakuha sa mga resources that are found in these private lands without the ownership of or without the approval of the owners. Now, afterwards, si ancient society ning develop pa siya into what we call the feudal societies. Ang concept, ang nakalahi ra sa ancient societies o sa feudal societies, ganina, nagya po siya private ownership, pero wala tay tawag sa ilang leaders. Now, ang sa feudal societies, ang mga nanag-iya sa mga private nga yuta, gitawag na sila og feudal lords. No, dali ra kay timan-an basta feudal society kay naatay feudal lords. Now, these feudal lords own large fractions or large tracts of wealth in the country. So, ang kaning mga feudal lords, kay mo ni sila ang mga kwartaan, basically because naa sila'y daghan nga yuta. Now, ang kaning feudal society class, wala rin pun sila nagdugay because due to the rise of cities and metropolis, kay ni collapse ra ang feudal societies. And with the collapse of feudal societies, rose the capitalist societies. Now, under the capitalist societies, naa na diri ang concept of businesses. So, in the capitalist societies, kay naa na may mga negosyo, naa na dayon tay duha ka klase sa mga business or sa mga tao. There were already two classes of people which we call the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Now, ang kaning bourgeoisie and proletariat, they are the people that existed in the capitalist societies. Na kung muana tag bourgeoisie, mao ni sila ang mga capitalist or ang mga kwartaan, mga business people. While the proletariat are those that are working for the bourgeoisie or ang mga trabahante nila. The capitalist society further evolved and with that is the present society nga gitawag nato og democratic society. Now, what is the difference between the democratic and the capitalist society? Ganina sa capitalist societies na ay duha ka klase sa tao, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Now, in the capitalist society class, kung naka-business idea, kung proletariat ka, most of the time, dili na nimo mayin-aka ang imong business idea. For example, you're working in a certain company or in a certain factory, niya nakahuna-huna kang nindot kay nga business idea. So, ningduol ka sa imong boss, nga na ka sa imong boss, nga kanang, ako tay suggest boss nga maghimo ta og toothbrush nga 2-in-1 ang purpose. Pwede nimo siya imong toothbrush sa baba, at the same time, pwede nimo siya i-brush sa CR. So, ano imong boss nga, hala, nindot nga idea. Sige. So, kay mo man tong idea, you would want to form another factory that would produce that. Now, in the capitalist society, kung wala kay kwarta, dili ka katukod og negosyo. So, pwede dayon mo imong boss nga, katong imong idea, ako to, kay ako may naikwarta, ikaw, magpabilin ra ka nga trabahante. While in the democratic society, since there is already what we call free enterprise, meaning to say, regardless of your social class, regardless of your economic standing, as long as you are capable of putting up a business that is lawful, meaning to say, dili illegal, pwede kay ka magnegosyo. Okay? So again, we have already discussed the 6 economic societies, starting with pre-class societies, characterized by, sa to? Communal ownership of properties, at the same time, the division of labor. Ang pre-class society, develop siya further into what we call the Asiatic societies. Sa Asiatic societies, ang mga tao nga to self-sufficient na sila. At the same time, there also rose the despotic and powerful leaders. After the Asiatic societies came the, sa to nga klase sa society, the ancient societies. Sa ancient societies po, ang mga leaders kinangangko na sila yuta, which gave rise to the concept of private ownership of lands. After the ancient societies, nag-exist ang feudal societies. Ang katong mga nangangko ng yuta, they were already called the feudal lords who occupied large tracts of land at the same time has the sani majority of the wealth in a certain country. However, the feudal societies, they collapsed due to the rise of cities and metropolis, which gave birth to the capitalist societies. Ang capitalist societies, here people are already engaged in businesses. However, there were only two classes. We have the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Ang bourgeoisie is ang mga kwartaan, mga capitalist, while the proletariat are the working class. And now, afterwards, develop si capitalist society into what is now known as the democratic societies, where people, regardless of your social status or regardless of your economic standing, can freely engage in businesses as long as it is legal.
Okay, so we have already finished discussing about the six economic societies. Now let us move forward to the six evolutionary societies. So in these six societies, we will be discussing and describing how did our societies develop from very simple ones into intricate and complicated societies that we have right now. Starting with the very first societies are what we call the simple societies. Now, from the word itself, simple, meaning to say the dynamics of these societies are very simple, meaning to say dali siya describe, and the way they led their lives were also very simple. Now, how are they characterized? Simple societies are described as predominantly small. So, meaning to say, most of the time, simple societies are composed of at least or no less than 50 members. 50 to 100 members. Now, since gamay raman ni sila, the people who compose one of these simple societies are related to each other, meaning to say, kaliwat sila. Again, the members of these societies are somehow related to each other. Posible nga sa usa ka society nga gakuyugay ani nga time kay mga nag-agaw ra ba sila or they come from one ancestors and ang mga apo ang nagkuyugay to form their um, existing societies. Another important indicator or important descriptor of the simple society is that they are nomadic. Moana ganitag nomadic meaning to say they do not have a permanent address or a permanent location. So, ang ilang buhaton, magsige na sila lakaw or masiglaroy-laroy mangita og pagkaon. And if they find a place nga na sila source of food, say for example, um, nakakita silang lugar nga naay punuan sa mangga nga daghan og bunga. So these societies would settle in that place hangtod mahurot ang ilang source of food. In that example, ang mangga. Now, if mahurot na ang ilang mangga, of course, they would leave that place and then they would find another place kung asa sila makakaon or asa sila maka survive. Another important indicator in simple societies is that the leadership is unstable. Meaning to say, posible nga karong adlaw ang ang ilahang leader kay kani nga person, say person A. However, after the following day or the following week, ang ilahang leader na sad kay lahi na sad. Ang usa na pud ka leader kay posible nga gipatay sa leader ang ilahang existing leader before. Another is sa pre-class or sa simple societies pod, the people have no specialization of skills. Therefore, during this time, whatever it is that you can do to work out with your tribe, maoy imong buhaton. So, during these societies, walay tao nga gi-identify as farmer, walay tao nga gi-identify as fisherman or as engineer or as teachers. Every one of them would work together so that their society would survive. So if need nila mangwag isda, sila tanan mahimong fisherman. Kung need nila mananom, silang tanan manguha og kanang seeds para mananom, or if kailangan nila magtukod og balay para na sila ka-stayhan for the meantime, they would all become carpenters or builders so that their society or the people that they live together with kay makasurvive. So to sum it up, members of the simple societies live a very simple life. No, simple gid kay lang kinabuhi. All they have to do is to live so that they can survive. Ang goal sa simple societies is para silang tanan makasurvive every day. Other than that, wala na sila'y lain nga goal. Okay? Now, moving forward, we also have, so, ang simple societies, after a period of time, ning develop siya into what we now call the combined or compound societies. Now, giun sa pag-form sa compound societies, ang mahitabo din is that there will be two or more simple societies. Say, for example, we have simple society A. Unya, naapod tay simple society B. Now, if the leaders of this tribe would agree on certain matters, example, nagkasinabot sila, so posible nga si simple society A o si simple society B makombine siya or sa gulo na to form a compound society. Okay, so since two or more simple societies are formed to create a compound society, of course, they are relatively bigger na. So, mas daghan na sila compared sa simple society ganina. Now, what are the characteristics of compound society? Ganina, sa simple society kay they are nomadic, at the same time gasalig lang sila sa ilang environment kung unsa ilang makaon. Their only goal is to survive. However, in compound societies, they are now predominantly settled. So meaning to say, kanang unlike ganina sa simple societies no nga maglaroy-laroy ra sila, they are nomadic. Diri sa compound societies kay nakatuna sila stay in one place. Now nganong nakatuna man sila nga magstay in one place? Simply because nahimo na silang agricultural societies. Meaning to say, nakatuna silang pananom, nakatuna silang farm, para dili lang sila magsalig sa ilang environment. So, by planting trees or by farming, they have decided nga it would be better jud kung magstay sila in one place so that they can tend to their plants or their farms better rather than magsige sila balhin. Another is that in compound societies, there is division of 4 or 5 social classes. Meaning to say, diri sa compound society, nagsugod na og classify or nagsugod na ta og classify sa lain-lain nga tao nga member sa society. So, posible nga diri sa compound na nabaron sila, say for example, we have 5 or 4 social classes. So, naaba sila class A, katuning mga tao baron nga mga kwartaan or ang leaders sa ilang society. Naabot pud sila class B or kani ang mga sinaligan sa mga leaders sa ilang society. Then, napod tayo class C or kani sila ang mga suluguon. And we could also have class D or ang katong mga tao nga outcast sa ilahang society. So again ha, timan basta compound societies kay they are now settled. They are also agricultural societies na. And darapod sila division of either 4 or 5 social classes. Next, ang compound society ning develop pa gyud siya further into what we call the doubly compound society. So, from the word itself, doubly na no, meaning to say, ang compound, ang duha na pod, 2 or more compound societies na pod ang na-develop or nag-merge to form the doubly compound societies. Now, the doubly compound societies are completely integrated, meaning to say they are compact or they are already developed to have these complicated concepts such as politics and religion in their society. So again ha, sa doubly compound ta nagsugod nga nanay a concept of politics and religion. At the same time, mas complex na pod ang ilahang division of labor. Ganina sa simple societies kay kung kailangan sila og magtukod og balay kay sila tanan motabang para makatukod og balay. Sa compound societies kay na naman to'y 4 or 5 social classes. So kung if you're identified as a slave, of course ang imong trabaho magpakaulipon ka sa imuhang owner or sa nagtag-iya nimo. However, diri sa doubly compound kay mas complicated na ilang division of labor. Pwede na kamuana nga slave tuod ka pero napud kay mga sulugon under nimo. So meaning to say naa ba ka aroy head nga slave nga siya manugo. Yun na po yung mga slave nga mag-oversee kung gibuhat basad sa lain nga slaves ang ilahang mga trabaho. No, so inyong makita sa doubly compound nagsugod na og ka-complicated ang concept sa society. Now, afterwards, kani si doubly compound ni develop siya further into what we call the militant societies. Sa militant societies, it is mainly characterized by the existence of military organization and military rank. So, halata man kay siya nga no, nga militant. Meaning to say, in these types of societies, ang masunod kay ang military organization. So, since na may existence sa mga sundalo, so whatever it is that they say, or whatever it is nga ang head sa society, sa military organization would say, maoy sundon sa society. Okay? Another characteristic of militant society is that here, the individual lives and private possessions are at the disposal of the state. Meaning to say, ikaw as a member of a militant society do not have a choice kung unsay gustong mahitabo sa inyuhang military organization. So for example, mo ana baron ang militant organization nga ikaw ganahan mi nga mahimo kang maestra. So even if ganahan unta ka mag-engineer, ganahan pa ka magpari or magmadre, you don't have a choice but to follow to their footsteps or to follow to their commands. So kung inon ka ikaw dapat mag-teacher ka, wala kay choice, mag-teacher gyud ka. Nya, if you have this sort of property, say for example, naaba karoy gold, nakakita ka og usa ka bag nga gold. If may bawa na sa inyong military organization, posible nga ang kanang gold kumuha na ba na leader sa military nga kanang kuhaan na ako na so you won't have a choice ihatag nimo kay again sa militant society ang imong individual life ug ang imuhang mga private possessions mga private ownership nimo kay at the disposal of the state mean to say sila ang makabuot kung unsa ang angay buhaton or unsaon paggasto or paghurot ang imuhang property. Another characteristic of militant society is that here, individual activities like imuhang recreation, paglingaw-lingaw, your movements, your satisfaction of biological needs and production of goods are totally regulated by the state. So dili lang ang imuhang individual nga kinabuhi o private property ang gikontrol sa militant society but also how you enjoy yourself. So for example, kumuha na ang leader sa militant society nga dili ka pwede mo ginhawa kay naglagot siya nimo or wa siya ganay sa imong naw. So, di sa ka pwede mo ginawa lang kay nigangay na kanya sultian. For example, gigutom ka, pero ning ana ang leader sa militant society nga dili mo pwede mangaon ha. Kanang everyday 2 minutes ra ang pwede ikaon. The rest of the day kay fasting, dili mo mukaon. So ikaw as a member of that society, you won't have a choice but to follow. Kay kung dili ka mosunod, chances are ipapatay ra gyud ka sa imuhang state or sa society nga imuhang gika bilungan. Okay? Now, finally, in the militant society, the individuals exist to serve the state. Meaning to say, ikaw as an individual, you exist para serbisyuhan ang imong state. Now, what is an example of this society? Example is ang North Korea. Di ba sa North Korea, kay nam na sila leaders no niya. Kung unsay gusto sa ilang leaders, mo ginasundan sa ilang mga tao. And that is what or how a militant society would look like, no? Kung ato siyang imaginon karon nga panahon. Okay? Afterwards, ang kaning militant society kay naka-observe man ang mga tao nga kanang di man gyud siya maayo kay murag it's abusing us and we do not have the freedom to choose how we want to live our lives. So, ning develop siya into what we call the industrial society. Now, sa industrial societies, ganina sa militant kay, kung kinsay leader sa military organization, kung kinsay empasahan, maura mo to yung mahimong sunod nga leader. Dili sa industrial society, kay na sila concept of election. So, ang mga tao, makapili na sila kung kinsa ang ilang gusto nga representatives para maprotektahan ang ilang individual initiatives. Again, ha? So, industrial societies na ta nagsugod sa concept of elections. Kaya mga tao dili mo butar na kinsa ilang gusto mahimong presidente, kinsa ang ilang gusto nga mahimong leaders sa ilahang society. Now, another is that sa industrial society, there is already the freedom of belief and religion, and you can now produce um, goods through industrial means. So, meaning to say, opposite siya sa militant. Ganina sa militant kay wala kay choice no kung unsay gusto nimo nga mahitabo sa imong kinabuhi. Now, diri sa industrial societies, kay you are given the freedom unsa nga religion imong sundon, unsa imong tuuhan. At the same time, you can now choose the products that you want to produce if you have the ability to produce goods. Okay? Another is that here in industrial societies, disputes and grievances are settled through peaceful arbitration. Meaning to say, ganina sa militant, kung nakay kaaway, posible ra nga ingnon sa leader sa inyong society kay sige pagsumbagay mo diha okay sa mapildi awa ang daog siya sundon diri sa industrial society kung naay mga panag-away or kanang naay panaglalis um hiringon sila no kanang muagi na siya og kanang court or muagi na siya og due process para masabtan gyud how to settle this dispute or this grievance. And finally, the individuals in industrial societies already have freedom and rights as well as initiatives that are being protected. So, diri sa industrial society, ang individual or ang mga tao na sila yung mga rights, no? And these rights are protected, their freedom are also given emphasis, which is a stark comparison nga to sa militant society ganina. And this industrial society um, further developed into what we call now the post-industrial society or ang society nga naata karon. Now, what are the characteristics of post-industrial societies? Number one, there is already the spread of computer machines and existence of ICT or information communication. So, kung inyong makita ron no kay kita we rely on internet or on the computer to do most of the tasks that we have. Another, here in post-industrial societies, the inventions as well as the discoveries in medicines, agriculture, business, whether in physical and natural sciences emerge. So meaning to say the development of the things that we have right now, technological advances are predominant or mas daghan siya compared to the industrial societies. And a downside to that is that because of these advancements or these developments, nakakos siya og pollution, nakakos po siya og mga sakit at the same time na-intensify ang calamities through climate change because of the advanced technology. So meaning to say, tungod kay we rely more on our technology naman, what happened is that na siya adverse effects sa atong environment. So nakakos siya og pollution, ning spread pud ang daghan nga sakit at the same time ang mga natural calamities nga existing sa una kay mas ning grabe siya and at the same time nakakos pud tang mga calamities tungod sa atuang pursuit for advancement. Okay? So again, we have already discussed the six evolutionary societies, starting with the simple societies, which is predominantly smaller. At the same time, they are nomadic. And there is no specialization yet. Afterwards, ang simple can develop siya into what we now call the compound societies. Now, compound societies are characterized by, number one, combining two or more simple societies. At the same time, um, they already have the concept of four or five social classes. Then afterwards, ning-develop pa siya into what we call the doubly compound society. So sa doubly compound societies, there is already now the concept of politics and religion, at the same time complex division of labor. Fourth one is sa to, after the doubly compound kay naatay gitawag og militant society where individuals do not have the freedom to choose how they want to live their lives. Ang kaning militant na ilisan sa ikalima, which is the industrial society, where number one, ang mga tao mo elect na representatives nila in their government. Second is there's already freedom, rights, and initiatives that are protected for each individuals. And finally, ang kaning post industrial ning develop siya into the present society where we live right now, which is the post-industrial society, which is characterized by the use of computers as well as ICT. At the same time, there's already inventions, discoveries in terms of medicine and other fields. And finally, because of these advanced technology, nahitabo ang pollution, there's the spread of diseases as well as calamities that are brought by these advancements in technologies. Okay, now let us talk about the last six societies characterized by people subsistence. Mo nagitag people subsistence, this is how each people survive through the foods that they need in their society. No, first let us begin with the food gathering societies which existed 16,000 years ago. So ang food gathering societies kay mura-mura nig ang simple societies, no. So they live um or they survive day by day through hunting. So, kaning mga food gatherers kay nomadic ni sila like in the simple societies, and they are hunters and gatherers, meaning to say mangita sila pagkaon in their environment and they rely in their environment so that they can survive. Now, ang kaning mga food gathering societies kay gagamit silang mga tools in their gathering and hunting. So, mogamit silang mga tools nga made of stone, woods, and bones to aid them in their hunting and gathering excursions. So, ang inyong makita diri sa atong screen kay these are the examples of the kani siya kay bone man ni siya bone tools that the food gathering societies used before para effective ang ilahang pagpanguha o pagkaon through hunting and gathering. Afterwards, ang kaning food gathering society kay na-develop siya into horticultural societies. Now, ang horticultural kay mura-mura ni katong compound societies, no. So diri ang mga tao kay nananom na sila for them to sustain their lives, no. So kanang pero ang ilang gitanom diri kay kana pa mga crops nga dali manubo, si for example palay, the same time nananom baron sila og mga vegetables nga dali nilang makaon. So, since horticultural societies pa man, their farming activities are not as widespread. So, ginagmay lang ni ilang nga pagpananom nga para lang dili sila magutman. And then, um, existing together with the horticultural society is ang pastoral society. So aside sa nananom sila class kay namuhi na food sila og mga hayop, no. So they follow their herds in quest of animals for food and clothing to satisfy their needs. So nomadic gyapon sila, meaning to say gilaroy-laroy gyapon sila, gisunod-sunod ra gyapon ni nila ilang mga hayop kay wala pa man sila concept sa tangkal, and they raise these animals para naa sila'y pagkaon ug naapod sila kakuhaan og sinina or clothing through the skins of their herds or their animals. And existing with them also is the agricultural societies. Now, unsay nakalahi ni kanang agricultural o ni horticultural? The difference here is the tools that they use. So, si agricultural, kay ni gamit na siya og plow, while si horticultural, ang iyang gigamit pa kay hoe. So, meaning to say, ang kaning agricultural societies, their farming activities are more advanced at the same time, mas large scale na ni ang ilahang pagpananom for food production. Afterwards, kay nahitabo na dayon si industrial society. Now, kano sa di nagsugod si industrial society? Nagsugod siya during the 18th century with the event that we call the Industrial Revolution. Now, unsay nahitabo during the Industrial Revolution? So, during this time class, kay daghan silang na-invent nga mga machines no nga makatabang sa mga tao para mas mopaspas ang ilahang production activities as well as their daily life activities. So, diri sa Industrial Revolution kay nakapurmas lag steam engine at the same time kay nakaform pud silang mga makina nga kanang mas makapapaspas sa ilahang production or sa ilahang mga business activities. And the Industrial Revolution gained momentum um, in the turn of the 19th century. Okay? Now, industrial societies are characterized with the use of machines as means of production. So, ganina sa example sa agricultural societies, no, kanang nagamit pa sila og plow para makatanom sila or makaani. While diri sa industrial societies, instead of using manual labor or plow, ang gigamit na nila kay mga traktor para mas mapaspas ang ilahang pagpananom. Okay? Now, moving on, dili pod sa industrial societies ang mga tao kay highly skilled na and they already have diverse occupation. Nga naman, kay since there are a lot of advancements naman nun, na mga makina nga magamit, so ang mga tao, wala na na-contain into just farming or to just fishing or raising animals. So, diri nga time, sugod nag-exist ang lain-lain nga trabaho. Say, for example, engineers, mga electricians, sa mga machinists. So, with the rise of these machines, with the rise of industrial societies pod, ang mga tao kay daghan nag-options unsa ilang gusto nga trabaho. Di ko gusto mag-farmer, ganahan ko mag-factory worker. So, it is made possible with the industrial societies. And finally pod, this is now the existing society that we have no, which is the post-industrial or also called the information society. Now, what is the hallmark or unsay timailhan sa post-industrial society? It is the information and communication technology or ang ICT itself. Again ha, ang hallmark or timailhan sa post-industrial or information society is ang ICT or information and communication technology. So, similar ganina sa atong gidiscuss no during the evolutionary societies, because of several technological advancements, nakakos siya og problems and these problems are unsa ganito? Of course, we have pollution, also long illness, skin problems, and other problems nga na face sa mga post-industrial or information societies. Okay, so we have already discussed the 6 people subsistence societies. Now we have number 1, which is the, unsa ganito? Yes, we have the food gathering society. So here the people, they rely on their environment for food as well as for survival. So to get food, kay manguha sila og mga pagkaon through hunting and gathering. Then afterwards, ang kaning food gathering society, they also use unsa to nga mga klase sa tools? Yes, gamit sila tools that are made of stone, wood, and bones para makatabang sa ilang hunting and gathering excursions. Afterwards, ang kaning food gathering society kay na-develop sila into what we call Ito, of course, the horticultural societies. So sa horticultural societies, kay, unsa to? They are characterized by their ability to plant. So nakatuna silang pananom og mga tanom para naa sila'y kakuhaan og pagkaon. At the same time pod, ning develop say horticul or existing together with horticultural society is ang pastoral societies. Now, unsa ganito gibuhi sa pastoral societies? Okay, very good. So nagbuhi sila mga animals. Nganong gabuhi man sila og animals? Okay, so gabuhi sila animals for them to have food or source of food as well as for clothing. And naapod tay agricultural society. Unsa ganito yung nakalahi sa horticultural ug sa agricultural? Okay, so sa horticultural, ang ilang gigamit pa kay hoe, whereas in agricultural, ang ilang gigamit kay plow or plow. At the same time, sa agricultural society, their sana farming activities or farming excursions are more larger in scale compared sa horticultural societies. Then afterwards, because of the industrial revolution that started during the 18th century and sa to kanang progressed with the turn of the 19th century, kay na exist dayon ang mga industrial societies. So, ang industrial societies, they are characterized with the use of machines for their food production. Afterwards, tungod pod sa development sa atong ICT or Information and Communications Technology kay nahimo na dayon tang post-industrial or information society. Now, unsa ganito ang na-cause tungod sa widespread nga advancement sa atong technology sa society? Of course, no, naka-cause siya og problems. Unsa man to nga mga problems? Case on ocean pollution, skin diseases, lung diseases, and other problems that are currently existing today. Now we have already finished discussing no, the 18 societies according to evolutionary societies. We have the people subsistence as well as the economic societies. Now, here is my question. Can a society be dissolved? Posible ba kaha nga ang usa ka society mabuwag? No, what do you think, class? Of course, no? So, ang society, posible yung kay siya ma-dissolve, posible yung kay siya mabungkag. Now, there are several reasons, or I know that you are thinking right now of several reasons nga nung mabungkag ka ang society. But here are 6 dominant reasons. So, number 1, ang society posibleng mabungkag when people kill each other through civil revolution. Meaning to say, kanang mabungkag or mawala ang society kung ang mga tao magpatay. No, that's what we call civil revolution or civil war. So, for example, ang kanyang mga taga Danau, wala sila nagkasinabot. So, para ma-settle ang ilang di pagkasinabtanin, nagpinatyanay sila, nya walay nakasurvive or nahurot silang tanan nga taga Danau. So, ang society of Danau will no longer exist. Okay? So again, the first reason is kung ang when the people kill each other through civil revolution. Second reason is when an outside force exterminates the member of a society. Meaning to say, class, na ay outside force, no nga, ning sulod sa usa ka society and this outside force would exterminate or kill the members of the society. Example ani is kaning inyong nakita which is Adolf Hitler. Kinsa gani ni ang um gipatay or gi-exterminate nga society ni Hitler? Okay, no, ang mga Jews. So, gibuhat ni Hitler kay iyang gipadakop ang mga Jews sa mga European countries nga na iyang na-occupy during World War II niya iyang gipapatay. No, if when and if Adolf Hitler was successful in exterminating all the members of the Jews, no, kung nahurot gyud ni niya tanang Jews, do you think ang Jew society exist pa ka karon? Of course, dili na no, mawala ni gito sila. Third reason for society's dissolution is when the members of a society become apathetic among themselves, or they no longer have this what we call sense of belongingness, no? So ganina atong balikad class, usa sa mga rason nga no magtukod tag society is because we want to feel nga bilong ta, no? Ganahan ta maka-feel nga kanang there are people who understands us, or nay mga tao nga nakasabot sa atong gibati. Now, if mawala na ni nga sense of belongingness, kung dili na nato ma-feel nga part ta sa usa ka society, of course ang atong society kay ma-dissolve gyud na siya or mabungkag. The fourth reason is when a small society is absorbed by a stronger and larger society through conquest or territorial absorption. Unsay but pasabot ani kanang na siya'y smaller society or weaker society nga gi occupy baron or gi conquer sa larger and stronger society. So ang katong existence sa small society mawala. Example of that is when the Philippines was occupied by or was conquered by the Spaniards, no? So ang society sa prehistoric Philippines or the pre-colonial Philippines before the Spaniards came, nawala siya kay gi-colonize man ta sa mga Espanyol, no nya. Tupong nawala na pod ang mga Espanyol kay gi-occupy masata sa mga Amerikano. So the Philippine societies that were existing between the time sa mga Espanyol or sa paghawa sa mga Espanyol ug sa pagsulod sa mga Amerikano kay nawala. Kay ngano man we are absorbed or gikuha man ta sa stronger and larger society. Okay? The fifth one is when an existing society is submerged in the water, meaning to say ang usa ka society nalubog sa tubig, and tanan nga mga tao ug tanang living things nga naa aning society kay nawala. No, example, ang usa baron ka society kay or ang usa ka small island kay gilinugan unya nalubog siya sa tubig. Tanang tawo nga nagpuyuan ng island wala naka-survive. Walay nabilin maskin usa. So, because of the submergence or because this society is already submerged in water, ang iyang existence kay nawala na. And lastly, when a member of a society or the people living in the society voluntarily attach themselves to another society. Ang buot pasabot ani, ang ganina kay mawala ang existence sa smaller and weaker society if i-colonize siya or i-conquer or i-occupy siya sa larger and stronger society, no? Diri pod sa number 6 kay ang mga tao mismo kay willingly attach nila ilang self ana nga society. Example mo ana baron nga kanang ang Pilipinas kay makigsagol na sa China. Nya kita nga mga Pilipino kay kita gyud ang gusto willing gyud kay ta nga sagol na ta sa China kay ganyahan ta mahimong Chinese citizens. So by voluntarily attaching ourselves to the Chinese society, ang atong Philippine society mawala, no? Kay gitangtang naman nato ang atong identity as Filipinos or as um members of the Philippine society. No? So again, those were the six um societies or the six causes of why a society is dissolved or why a society would cease to exist. Okay, do you have any questions? If you have questions, you may comment it down, or you can simply leave a class comment rather on our Google Classroom stream so that it would be addressed. Okay, and kindly prepare because on our next meeting we will have an activity about the discussion that we have done today. If there are no more questions, I believe that's all for today. Thank you so much, everyone, and stay safe.